Rwanda and the one in the war, Joseph Goebbels used against the Jews, and they lost 6 million people. We haven't had this. We have had a civil war. We've managed it. But at the time we are talking now, social technologies have taken over, and they now call it citizen journalism. Very difficult to regulate citizen journalism at the moment. I think we need to talk to ourselves to remove the issues that lead to hate speeches.
Okay. Dr. Kinreti, this matter of perceived injustices that are bringing, he talked about dealing with the issues that are causing this seeming rise in hate speeches, instead of just talking about those who are helping to spread it. Can this root cause, seeming root cause, be dealt with before we even begin to say, okay, how do we handle the others?
Yeah, it's appropriate what Martins has said. You know, the beauty of democracy, part of the ingredients of democracy is rule of law, freedom of speech, right of reply. And in an attempt for people to meet the right of reply on certain issues, which they are really concerned that they are meant to them, they go off the cuff. And then they start making some of these, you know, very statements, profane statements, you know, indecent statements that could aggravate other people. That's how you refer to them as hate speeches. And that's exactly what I'm saying, that, you know, you actually need to be careful. Where your right ends, that is where the right of other people starts. So you need to recognize that. Once you have done that, then you can now move on to assuage the feelings of the people. Let's get things right. It is not possible for you to solve all the problems at the same time. You pick one issue, resolve it, and then you move on. Right. Issues that we are talking about now have been issues that have been for years that ordinarily we are not paying more attention to. And so people ordinarily are so aggravated. People are concerned, and they think that the only way they can voice their concern is using the media, because obviously media is also free, because in democracy, media play a very, very essential role as a purveyor of information. So you vent your anger, your feelings using the media in most cases. So what you are going to do is to draw the line of what you are going to say that you think will impinge on the rights of other people, that also obviously affects you. You are okay with what you have said, but what is the implication of what you have said? And that's why you have laws that are guiding some of these things.
Okay, talking about the laws now, we do know that there's a social media act that was signed into law. But how do you regulate this? Yes, the NBC has thrown its weight behind curbing this and enforcing its regulations on the presenters and the organizations that allow room for this. So how do we now manage the other side? Which Mr. Oloja raised.
The politician is there. They are the major challenge.
Before the politicians, let's look at the social media.
Yeah. Look, as I said it, managing social media is really challenging. But of course we can get at it. No, there are options that the U.S. government have used. There are options that Chinese government have used. In managing social media.
The US
using the social media. Managing.
If you go,
I use the word managing. And you can't cover it outrightly, because some of these things go viral, and wherever you have internet access, somebody will just go there and just send the message. And it is when it has gone viral that you can, oh, what are you going to do? Damage control. But the first point is for you to see how you can monitor the use and access to the internet.
But how do you then locate the person who put the message on?
No. Technology is fine. They can do all that. That's why I'm giving you the example of what happened, for example, in China. For example, now, in Saudi Arabia, I'm just giving an example. For anything to come on air, the technologies are able to locate where it is coming from and who is sending that message. And you can be sure that they will get at you. That's what happened to the lady that was, actually canvassing for people to drive. There was one leader that said, oh yes, I'm driving. Well, just tweeting using the phone. Oh well, I'm driving now. We can have freedom for women to drive. Instantly, they're able to identify where she's coming from, who she is, and then easily just get at her. That is technology for you. But you could say that because it's a land of dictatorship. Oh, we are in a liberal environment in Nigeria, so such a thing should not come up. But what we are saying is that those who are in charge, the regulators, the NCC and others, could use technology to detect where some of these are coming from.
Okay,
but if you are doing that, you need to be very, very careful, because politicians use against are going to gag them.
Okay, I understand we need to start winding down. So let me read out this mail that's just coming from Emmanuel. He sent this in from Luxembourg.
Okay.
And he says, hate speech is triggered by a lack of good governance. Let us not treat symptoms and neglect the etiology of the disease. So in winding down, you and Mr. Oloja will weigh in on this in your closing moment. Hate speech is triggered by a lack of good governance. Let us not treat symptoms and neglect the etiology of the disease.
I agree with you. Lack of good governance. It's all said, we are preoccupied with roads, with development, physical development. What about the development of the mind? And so, that is what critical. If you are at peace with yourself, there's no way you are going to pander to one kind of hate speech or the other. But the moment that the guys will say that government will have to do something about the people themselves, that's why the National Orientation Agency is there. Who are they orientating? What for? What are the issues in the front burner that we can discuss amicably and resolve it? In as such, you don't do that.
Can you tell your child not to smoke if your child sees you smoking every time? Mr. Oloja, in winding down, your closing statement, please.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I said earlier. We need to, I agree with the person who sent that message, that we need to focus on development issues. We need to focus on critical infrastructure. We need to focus on better rather than more universities, because that is where you develop mind, institutions of learning. And we need to focus on even critical infrastructure within the university system, within the school system, in such a way that people's mind will be developed, because even political education is lacking. People do not know what we are talking about, democracy. Most of the people who are criticizing people who are talking do not know that you need a very strong opposition for governments to do well. But we can talk about the language. We talk about development of mind. I would want to appeal to the government of the day to focus on better schools, better universities, rather than more. It is not enough to be setting off more universities, ICT university, maritime university, all sorts of universities, without caring about the quality of products. Because we are talking about products that will come out of universities to be able to have skills they can use to solve problems. If you just carry certificates in the modern society that data rules, you cannot get employment. With your certificate, you need employment with your skill, developed mind to solve problems, critical thinking. At this time, The Economist just released a story that the greatest resource is no longer oil and gas, but data. And it is from the school system. You study the use of data to create wealth. We need better universities, not more universities. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Martin Oloja, who is the editor at The Guardian. Spoke to us from our studio in Abuja. And we had in the studio in Lagos the Assistant Director News of the Voice of Nigeria, Ms. Dr. Kazim Akinreti. Thank you very much both for coming to share your insights with us.
It's a pleasure.
Sunrise will continue in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Please join us.